Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 19 updates and spoilers. Our house guest today is Ian Armstrong. Ian, thank you so much for your support. You're awesome. And if you guys want to be house guests today, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. And what up if you're watching this on Jokers? Woo! Okay, so let's talk about what's going on in the house. Yesterday, Christmas and Raven were chatting outside, and they were talking about Dominique, and they just can't even believe that she had the nerve to ask them if they voted out Ramses. They're like, really? Come on! So Christmas is still denying it. Paul is the only one she's confirmed it to, but everyone freaking knows! Everybody knows it was you. Everyone. Just for the record, it was Christmas, Jess, and Kevin, if anybody forgot. Okay. So then, they're talking about possible nominations if they were to win the next HOH competition. Christmas says she would definitely put up Jessica, even though they're getting along better now. And Raven is just like, yes. She has this thing against Jess. She really wants her out for some reason. So Raven is like, yeah, Jess is blaming me for hiding Alex's cat ears, but I didn't do it. They both agree that it was Jess. Can we get a freaking flashback on that? Because I'm really curious who actually hid those damn cat ears. I don't know. I've heard both sides. We're going to come back to that. But they both knew where the cat ears were hidden, but they didn't tell Alex about it because they were trying to cover up for Jess, who supposedly hid them. I don't know. But Raven agrees, like, yeah, I'd probably put up Jess too with, like, a pawn. Okay. So then they're talking about, you know, making it deep into this game. So Raven shares that Matt has mentioned he's not even there to win. And he's told Raven, like, I want to see you win. He was all inside out. I'll die for Riley. So he says he would love to see Raven win. And Raven's like, there's a slim chance that I'll even make it to the final two because nobody wants to go up against me. And Christmas says, yeah, because you would win. Would she though? I don't know. I'm not sure. What if she was up against somebody who played like the best game ever? I don't know. So Christmas is saying, like, you know, I'm kind of like Matt here, where I'm not really here for the money. I have a really nice life outside of this house. And she said that some people see that prize money and it makes them play like this dirty, ruthless game. And they both agree. They're not here for that. They're not going to like compromise their morals and stuff. Get out. Okay, don't be freaking shaming people for playing the game. That's ridiculous. Not everybody's here for summer camp. So I don't know, that just like ticks me off when people are like, oh, I can't believe you're gonna play like that. Really though? Okay, so then Matt and Raven have a game chat in the storage room, and Raven reports that Christmas wants Jessica out. So they celebrate, they do a little dance, they're very excited about this because they didn't really know where Christmas stood before. So then Raven says, if I get the temptation, I might just turn it down because she doesn't feel comfortable cursing people. Oh my god! I'm pretty sure they designed these temptations expecting every single one to be taken. Like, really? You're not going to accept the temptation? Okay, but also, a lot of people have been telling Raven that they think that she's going to get this next one because I guess they think that she's going to be really popular with the viewing audience and people are going to, like, give it to her. I don't know, whatever. So she's talking like she's gonna get it pretty much. So Matt's like, well, maybe you should wait and see what it is before you decide what you're gonna do with it. So then they have a similar conversation with Paul later. They're talking again about how Christmas wants Jessica out. They're talking about the temptation. And then Paul is saying if he wins the next HOH, he would put up Jess and Ramses. Boring. Okay. He's still holding a grudge against Ramses for not throwing that power veto competition. Alright. So then Kevin, Paul, Jess, and Jason were chilling in the backyard yesterday. It was a very chill afternoon for the most part. So Dominique comes over and she asks Kevin, are you still willing to do the talk show with her on Wednesday night? So Kevin's like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a good idea. And Dominique's like, why? Kevin says he doesn't think anyone's gonna come to it. That's so sad. So Dominique's like, okay, like it can be private, that's fine. It's just me, you, and the camera. And he's like, I don't know. So she says, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. I'll just do it by myself. And Kevin's like, all right, well, I'll let you know before that. So then Dominique walks away, and of course they're all talking about her. So Kevin says, I handled that professionally, right? Like, I love that Kevin acts like this is like a real freaking TV show that they're putting on during Big Brother. But anyway, Paul's like, you should just wait until the last minute and then cancel. She's just trying to cause chaos before she leaves. Excuse me. And I think she's honestly just like hoping that she'll get a job as like a talk show host too, because she said that that was like one of her things coming into the house. So then Paul's like, you know what? We should start up friendship chats again. Yeah, but I would rather see Kevin's talk show than the friendship chat. Anyway, Matt and Mark were playing pool. It was not at all like when Mark and Josh play pool. They were having a little bit of a strategy chat, and Matt asks Mark, what are you thinking for next week? This is the most that I've seen Matt talk game all season. So Mark is like, well, I think I'll put up Josh and Ramses if I win HOH, and then if one of them is saved with the veto, put up Christmas or Jess as the replacement nominee. So then they're like talking about Jess and how good she is, and she's really getting back into the group, and a lot of people are enjoying their time with her. So Matt's like, yeah, I think she's playing everybody. Duh, some people are actually playing the game. So Matt says he's cool with any of those people going. It doesn't matter. They all seem to be on the same page. And then Matt says, again, honestly, dude, once we get to jury, I don't give a shit. Just leave. Get out now. He said there's literally no difference between going home 9th or going home 3rd. Just leave. I'm done. Just leave. So Mark kind of agrees with him, but I don't think he feels the same way. But he says he'd be cool with making top 6. Again, I don't think he feels the same way, because I'm pretty sure that Mark tried out, and I think he tried out the last few seasons, so he actually wants to play the game. Okay, in other news, Christmas. Oh, poor Christmas. She slipped on some grease in the kitchen and she fell, but she's okay. Don't worry, it's all good. They gotta clean up that kitchen floor better. Alright, and then we were treated to a little monologue from Ramses in the storage room. He says that he's really having a tough time so far in this season, because he was planning on working with one person that he could fully trust. Just so happens that person went out week 1. He was talking about Jillian. Not the best choice, but you know, that's who he was going with. So he says that he's been having a lot of trouble building trust with people, and he feels like he's the only person who's truly playing this game alone right now. And he says he wants to work with people like Alex and Jason. He feels really good about them, but he knows that they're keeping their distance from him because he's a big target for the other side. So obviously they're not going to want to be all like buddy-buddy with him, and he gets that. He sees that. So he's like, I need to win HOH or get the DOT or like a special veto to bring people in. True, if he was HOH or something, I feel like he would definitely get people making deals with him, kissing his butt. So that would be really good for Ramses, and I'd be interested to see what Ramses would do if he was HOH. So then he said he plans to keep acting young and naive so people don't feel threatened by him. And I think he's doing a good job with that. I think a lot of people are really warming up to him. The only problem is Paul is not. And Paul has such huge influence over everyone right now that could be a big problem for Ramses. Also a problem for Ramses, he forgot he had cooking oil on the stove for fried pickles, and it was burning, and there was lots of gross smoke and almost a fire. Ugh, it was not a good kitchen day. Alright, so then Elena, Matt, and Raven were talking some game in the bathroom area, and it seems like Matt and Raven have been hardcore trying to make sure that everyone's going to target Jess next week. I don't know what exactly it is that they don't like about her. I guess Raven's pissed about the whole cat ear hiding thing that Jess was spreading around, but other than that, like, I don't see why they dislike her so much. But anyway, Elena is like, I kind of want to take out Josh next week if I win HOH. She says this might be a little bit selfish, but I don't want to hang out with him in jury. Also, she's realizing, though, that might not be her best game move. So she says also she would have a really hard time putting Jess up on the block or backdooring her. And that's the same thing that we heard her say earlier this week when she was explaining to Alex why she was so willing to give up HOH. So she's saying she doesn't want to be the one to put up Jess, but if everybody else was voting her out, she would vote to evict her. And she says after all that, like, if it comes down to it and I have to put up Jess, then, like, fine, I'll do it. I don't think Raven liked that answer. Okay, so then Alex and Jason were planning for next week up in the HOH room. Jason really wants Christmas out, and he said he's, like, really... He's not liking seeing her, like, hobbling around the house and, like, struggling to get around, and it's just, like, a reminder that he's partially responsible for that. Damn, man, you freaking play a part in breaking her foot, you vote to evict her, and then you're saying you want to get rid of her? That's harsh. But he's saying, like, yeah, I could put up Christmas with somebody like Raven, because he feels like everybody would vote to keep Raven. Yeah. And then Alex is like, yeah, but what about Jess? She's really fixated on getting rid of Jess, too. I don't think Jess really cares about Alex anymore. It's not like that rivalry that they had when Cody was in the house. It'll be interesting to see what would happen if Cody were to come back in the battle back, what that dynamic would be like. But they would like to see Josh win this next HOH because they feel like they've got pretty strong influence over him, and they think that he would take out somebody like Matt or Mark. I know Josh has talked about getting rid of Matt in the past. I don't know if he would actually go through with it, and then all that drama with Mark. But I don't know. Who would he listen to? Alex and Jason or Paul? I don't know. Okay, they're also not very confident that he could win the HOH, so they're not trying to count their chickens before they hatch. So speaking of Josh, he was with Paul in the Apple Lounge, and Paul is telling him, you really, excuse me, that's not what he told him. He told him, you really need to win this next HOH, because Josh is freaking out that he's not going to be safe next week, so he's like, alright, just go win HOH, you know, get some safety for yourself. So Paul also advises him to squash the drama with Mark. So Paul actually sends Mark into the lounge to talk to Josh, and they talked one-on-one. I was a little bit surprised because I thought maybe there would be a mediator, but no, they weren't big babies anymore. They were kind of like big toddlers, so baby steps, right? So Mark apologizes again. He's like, I shouldn't have thrown that hot sauce in your face, you think? And Josh is like, I know, Elena talked to me about it. I understand that it was supposed to be a joke and you didn't think that I was going to react that way, but he says it really triggered him. Trigger warning. And Josh says he completely freaking blacked out and snapped at him. They agree. This whole thing was really freaking stupid. It escalated quickly, and they're already kind of like laughing about it. So they both apologize to each other, and they agree. No more bets. Okay. So then Alex, Matt, and Raven are up in the HOH room. They're doing the whole, we're cool with you. That's great, because we're cool with you too. They're talking about Jason and Alex together. Jason does join them eventually in there. But Alex is telling them, like, yeah, I think Christmas was one of the hinky votes last week because she heard her joking about it beforehand, like throwing out some crazy vote to stir the pot. And then, again, they discuss the hidden cat ears and poured out Coke. Okay. I saw on a few message boards people saying that Raven actually confessed to Elena that she did do this, and Elena told her to deny it. Now, I'm telling you this with like a little asterisk next to it because I did not actually see this conversation or hear this conversation. So if you guys have a timestamp and it definitely happened, let me know because I would love to check that out for myself. But I'm just saying, people are saying that she did own up to this and she's lying about it. So again, I don't know if that's actually true, but I have seen secondhand other people saying that. So Alex is like, no, I believe that Jess did it, not you, Raven, because Raven sweared on her pacemaker. So then, you know, there's more talk about how Jess has to go. These three are so on board for it. We'll see. But Alex, like, I feel like that's so dumb. Like, why are you going to target Jess? You got bigger fish to fry, girl. Alright, so then today, the feeds were down for a few hours for the Den of Temptation, and when they came back, everyone's denying having it. They're all trying to figure it out. They do know that the curse will affect the whole house. They don't know what it is yet. I don't know if it's just going to be that somebody's coming back with the battle back, or if there's some separate curse that we don't know about. But I am curious to find out. So Paul especially is trying to figure out who got it. He's super paranoid that it might be Dominique. So he's like, I want somebody to ask her if she got it and see how she reacts. I don't think any of his minions did, but I think actually Jess asked Dominique, and Dominique was like, no, I didn't. And then she was like laughing. So Jess was like, well, that doesn't make me feel good. But Jess is one of the other main suspects right now. She was talking to Mark and Elena, asking them about their votes. And they're like, yeah, we're going to vote for you to stay. Relax. And Jess is like, all right, but please don't blindside me. Like, if you are going to vote me out, just tell me ahead of time so I know. So that's kind of like fishy. I don't know what the rules are exactly for the halting hex, if you have to put that into play before the votes are cast, or what the deal is. Like, I don't know if it's like a hidden immunity idol on Survivor where you have to say like, I'm using this before the votes are read, or what. So maybe Jess is thinking like, oh shit, I need to find out if they're actually going to vote me out or not, if she has to decide early if she's going to use it. I don't know. But then, yeah, Elena and Mark confirmed they're voting out Dominique. But people are also suspicious of Jess just because she's been smiling a lot today. Who freaking knows? In other news, Raven got her stitches out today. I'm assuming she won't have to shower with the plastic bag over her foot anymore. And that's it. I don't know who got the temptation yet. Usually the person will either catch them telling somebody else, or they'll like go into a room by themselves and be like, hey, look, I got this. Thanks, America. But nothing yet. So check back later. If we do find out before tomorrow, I'll post it in the info for this spoiler at the bottom. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. And until tomorrow, eviction day, much love.